Check. 1, 2.
The Debrief. This is the Debrief.
Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's arts
and entertainment scene.
This is the Debrief.
Hello and welcome to Detroit's podcast for concerts, comedy, plays, food, drink, and more. It is Wednesday, January 9th, 2019. I'm your co-host. My name is Seth Ressler.
And I'm Becky Scarcello.
I'm the new guy in the Detroit area.
And I'm the native.
Yeah, you've been here for a long time.
I have.
All right, look, on today's show, we've got the Antiques Roadshow.
Speaking of older things.
Yes, they're going to be coming back for season number 23, and they're airing Detroit episodes. Mm-hmm. And what they found is interesting. I mean, it's some real
compelling
Detroit stuff. We'll tell you about it.
Okay. Well, a popular beer is releasing back in town. You're going to want to hear about it.
Ooh, I like that. Mm-hmm. Mark Ridley over at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Royal Oak is celebrating a huge milestone. That comedy club has been around for 40 years.
Sweet.
We'll tell you all about the celebration. Some big names coming in for that.
And you're going to want to tune in tomorrow, too, Thursday, for our in-depth interview with Stephen Rogenson of Batch Brewing.
I love Batch Brewing. This
It's
is
a
over
great
in
spot.
Corktown. Oh, and it's not just the beer that's good, the food.
The food is great, and their mission is great. They do this feel-good tap. We'll get to hear all about it from Stephen.
Hey, speaking of great places to go drinking, we are doing a live show next Monday night. This is our second one that we've ever done in front of an audience. You get nervous? You get more nervous?
I'm not as nervous now. I mean, we've kind of done two because we also did the Stacking Benjamin one.
That's true, we did.
And we know we're going to be better this time.
Right.
So even if you came to the one at Eastern Market Brewing, we had a little audio issues, things like that. We have totally gotten it under control. So I think this is going to be our best one yet.
So this is happening at B Nectar Meadery in Ferndale. It's off the beaten path in Ferndale. But if you haven't been to this room, this is a really cool room.
Really cool. Beautiful spot, interesting drinks.
Yeah, so mead is basically honey wine, and they brew it kind of like beer. And they have, I don't know, they must have like close to 24 on tap at any given time. And it's one of those places, you know me, I like to go in and just do the sample.
Oh, I'm the same.
And
yeah.
I love everything I have there. I really do. So we're going to go find out all about that. And our guest is
Jason Magic, who aptly named is Metro Detroit's premier magician, and he's going to join us to guest host and do a little tricks. And so you're going to be up close and personal with a magician, seeing what he does.
I hate to admit it, maybe it's just because I'm a Neil Patrick Harris fan, but like I kind of like magic. I think there was a period where it was like a geeky thing to do, and now when there's a magician who wins America's Got Talent or whatever, I'm into it. So.
Oh, yeah. I think I've told you in past episodes, my dad was a magician's assistant. Like, that's how he helped himself get through college.
So did he get cut in half, or what happened?
I don't think he did that, but he was privy to a lot of the ways things worked.
All right.
Yeah.
So Jason Magic going to be our co-host next week at B Nectar Meadery. Please come join us. Let's meet our co-host for today's episode.
The Debrief.
All right, Mike Geeter, the comedian, the man, the myth. Welcome back, dude.
The legend.
Hey, before we go any further, your dad was a magician's assistant.
He was.
So he wore the whole bikini sparkly thing, or
Why you gotta be so gender stereotype, man?
I'm just saying that's when I think of magician's assistant. That's what.
Well, no.
What did he wear?
I think like some black
Tracksuit?
clothing and a cape of some sort.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
This was, I mean, my dad's, 85.
How long ago was this?
Well, so he helped pay his way through college. So he's 85 now. So, I mean,
72,
60.
73? Oh, 60s.
Oh, no. This was in the 50s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Telling you. And some of it, he still won't really tell us.
You think it's going to die with him?
Yeah, I don't know. No, he'll probably tell us. But yeah, we always grew up like watching all the David Copperfield and the Blackstone, and I love that stuff. Yeah.
Well, look, Mike Geeter's here with us. Mike is a stand-up comedian. You first of all co-hosted this podcast. You helped launch it.
I did
with us.
I did. That's back when I had hair. No, I wasn't.
Never had hair.
Yeah,
No.
I've never had hair.
You also appeared on Kevin Hart's Heart of the City 2 last year when they came in. They did that Detroit episode. You were one of the comedians on that, and you are headlining your very first set at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle this Thursday, January 10th.
Da, da, da,
Yeah, no
da.
pressure.
Congratulations.
No pressure. Thanks, man.
How can people get tickets to that?
They can go to comedycastle.com and buy up all the tickets.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, there are probably only like 12 left because I'm a pretty popular.
Well, it's cool though. On that site, you can go and like pick your seat, so
Yes.
you can be like up front to maybe get.
Listen, people, sit up front. I'm not going to mess with you. I'm not one of those type of comedians that give people guff unless you give me guff.
Yeah.
Let me
Then
tell
I'm
you,
going to get you.
I have been messed with several times now because I went to Punchline. And
And you sat up front, didn't you?
my girlfriend bought the tickets, and she bought the
Oh,
tickets
that
in that
couch.
couch that's right there on the stage. And I was the only, I don't know if I was the only white guy in the room, but I was certainly the only white
were the
guy.
only one.
Melanin deficient
Yeah.
person.
Right.
That's what we call it in 2019.
With the spotlight on you.
And then
Oh,
I
yeah.
went to the 1001 Laughs Comedy Festival in Dearborn.
Yes.
That Amir Zar puts on.
you were also.
And again, I was the only white guy in the
Yeah.
audience.
yeah. Now you realize.
So you just walked in there as a colonizer, right?
Yeah,
You're just
well,
like,
and I
you realize
colonizer.
absolutely no one feels sorry for you.
No,
at all.
I'm like-
but I was like the stand-in. Like
How does that feel?
every time there was a joke, it was like, okay, Seth, here's what you need to know. It was like the
So
background.
you had an interpreter.
Yes, I had an interpreter.
I dig it.
It was
I
a
dig
great
it.
show, though. Both of them were great shows. But that's the secret, right? Is that when you're picking shows, you probably don't want like the front row right by the stage, but you want like the third or fourth one back.
Well, you do at my shows. You
Yeah,
want
I
to sit
think
right by the stage because first of all, you want to hear this voice just pour
Up
over you
close.
like
Honey.
maple syrup on a cold morning. First of all. Secondly, I don't mess with people. You paid good money to come see me. You came there to let all of your stresses and your ills and fears go to the wayside. You can get that with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mess with people unless they mess with me, and then I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you if you mess with me.
Gonna
So
get
don't
ya.
come and get with. Just come watch the show.
Yeah.
Sit on your hands, keep your mouth shut unless you're laughing, and just watch the show.
You have another project in the works. You just recorded an album.
Yeah, I did.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
You want to
What's
hear
up?
about it?
Yeah.
I do.
Dude, I didn't even remember the name of it a few minutes ago.
You're moving up and onward to other stuff.
It's just, I'm just down the road now. I'm thinking of other stuff. I did record a CD, my first full-length CD at 20 Front Street in Lake Orion. A phenomenal venue. Such kind people. And I'm calling it the Charm Offensive.
That's fitting. Now,
I like
It is,
that. Yeah,
because
yeah,
I am
yeah.
charming.
But
It might be a little offensive to some people. I don't get gully or dirty, like raunchy with my stuff, but I do use adult words because I'm an adult.
Yeah.
So some people may not like it. My oldest brother was there, and he sat next to his oldest child, which was pretty funny to hear the stuff come out of my mouth and see his face and her face.
How old are we talking?
yeah, but
She's 31,
Oh.
and my
Oh.
brother's he's 58, 59.
Do you ever watch stand-up comedy or anything like that with your kids?
No, I take it back. He's 61.
Because
Yeah.
Becky, how old are your kids?
18 and 16.
And I mean, you ever watching a movie and a sex scene or something comes on and
yes. In fact, we were watching Black Mirror the other day,
Oh,
one of
yes.
the older ones, and it was like the woman whose husband dies, and then she
Oh, yeah.
recreates him
Yeah.
in the bathtub.
That's a good
And so, yeah, there was definitely, it gets a little, I mean, we're pretty open with our kids. We've talked about it all, which I think is important. But yeah, it gets a little like, okay.
yeah.
Listen, man, I took my mother and my ex. We went to see Look Who's Talking 2 when it came out.
Okay.
And the opening scene is a bunch of spermatozoa, whatever, going into an egg. And they're talking and racing towards the egg. And my mother went, ooh, and covered her eyes. That's when a woman that had 14 children exit her womb was like, ooh. I was like,
What?
now
That's
word?
just a generational thing. Like, I'd much rather watch stuff like that with my kids than I would my mom. Even
But
today.
look who's
yeah.
Even,
talking to
well, my
The
husband.
most offensive thing about it was John Travolta was in it. That was it.
Well, yeah. so-
Wait.
yeah. Like, it's not like you were watching Basic Instinct.
Right.
Let's go back to this. You raised an interesting question. Mike, would you rather watch a sex scene with your parents or with your kids?
Ooh.
Depends on the age of the kids, too.
Yeah, it
like
really would.
teenage and up.
Okay,
Like,
teenage and
right.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah, because by that time, they're probably teaching me something. you
Right.
know.
Right.
My parents would be like, boy, go in there and take the garbage out. It's like it's 10 o'clock, and garbage day was 2 days ago. What did I take? That's my mother's voice. That's how bad that is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when does this album come out? The Charm Offensive.
We're mixing it in the isn't that what they say when they do?
Yes,
Yeah, we're
mixing.
mixing it in the studio. And, we're actually coming out with a DVD and a CD. So we're trying to get all of that stuff together. And the plan is to drop it around my birthday, middle of March.
Nice.
So mid-March.
The Ides of March.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you remember. Yeah.
Well, let us know. We'll share the link when it happens.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
All right, coming up, the Antiques Roadshow is premiering with an episode from right here in Detroit. What did they find in these Detroit basements or attics or wherever people store the stuff? We'll tell you about it in a minute.
My lessons were sitting out on that lawn in front of Motown.
Detroit History Tours,
Street Film Festival,
Shakespeare in Detroit,
Ford Arts Beats and Eats,
the Heidelberg Project in Detroit, Michigan,
Detroit Grand Prix,
Valentine Distilling Company in Ferndale,
Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Royal Oak,
the Hamtramck Music Fest,
Motor City Pride, and you're listening to
and you're listening to The Debrief.
I listen to the Debrief podcast.
The Debrief.
Just religiously.
The Debrief.
It's absolutely amazing.
All right, Becky, let's talk about what's happening in the world of Detroit food and drink.
Sure. Well, one thing I like going to warmer climates especially is eating outside. Do you guys like that? Like the open air dining, patios?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Right? But don't you think about...
Bugs.
You don't like the bugs. You don't really think about that as a winter activity, though, right?
Not here.
Right.
I mean, when I've lived in other places, sure.
So get this, Traffic Jam and Snug.
Yeah.
They're in Midtown. They're one of the first businesses that even existed in Midtown, before it became what it is now, And they are offering 20% off your bill to eat on their patio in the winter. It has a fence around it, but there's no roof, there's no walls, there's no patio heaters. So just bring your coats.
20% off.
Would you get
20% off.
20%? Yeah. Yeah. Would you do it? Wednesdays in January and February.
I would do it like last Wednesday. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, it
out.
was like
Yeah,
50.
right. As global warming, gets...
Okay, here's another incentive. You get a secret menu full of specialty drinks that only available to these people that are supposed to help warm you up.
You know what? Here's my thing. I eat fast anyway. I drink faster. I'm probably going to be out there for 6 minutes tops. So I'd be down to say 20%.
That's a good idea. Just go for the drinks.
Yes.
Well, I would do it unless it were so cold that you had to wear gloves, because I can't imagine wearing gloves while eating dinner or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's cool. I think it's a good promotion,
Yeah.
and it's a big restaurant. I mean, it's not like they need the spillover, but I think it's a cool way to entice people to come in. So Wednesdays, January and February, 20% off.
We should do
out
like
on
a
the patio.
Speedo dinner party.
Oh, like a polar plunge sort of idea, but
except we all just could have.
yeah,
Snug.
Swimwear.
Because I've been dying to see Mike in a Speedo.
Well,
Who hasn't?
I'm just saying. Most people have died after seeing me in the Speedo. They're like
But at
Raiders of the
least,
Lost Ark, their face melts.
You're still your skin's still gonna look good. Me and Seth, it's like pale city over
Right.
here.
Yeah,
Like,
right. My skin's going to look good in the winter.
Yes.
Let me tell you something about black people.
Well,
we only
dry,
lotion the
but- I know,
areas
dry, yeah.
that are exposed. All of this is dry skin underneath
But
there.
you can use lotion. Like, we're not going to go to the tanning booth. Well, maybe Seth is. He's so vain.
Give me way too much credit.
Okay, the mental images, they just hurt.
It's enough.
Just flying
Okay.
today, right?
So let's just talk more about drinking. I think that's safer. And how about the human mentality of when something's limited or scarce, you just want it more, right? Maybe it's not even that good, but you want it more. So I don't know, but Hop Slam is back.
Oh, I thought... I don't know why I thought you were talking about sex there for a minute, but okay. I'm sorry. What is Hop Slam?
Hop Slam is sex, actually.
It's apparently. People would pay in sex to get their Hop Slam.
Now, give me a bag of hops.
Give me some. Slam it.
This segment was about food and drink at some point.
Just saying.
Hop Slam for your slam piece. All
right.
Okay. So Bell's. This is Bell's famous beer. It's a double IPA. It's made with honey, and that's the shtick. It's limited release, but it's coming back. It's 10% alcohol, you guys. So this is a good time of year to get this sort of thing warm you up. But
So this is like the McRib of beers, is
it's
what
the
we're saying.
McRib of beers, yes, but it tastes a lot better than that. So finding it before it sells out can be a total challenge. I mean, I know people, they're just texting back and forth. Oh my God, Holiday Market got some Hop Slam. Georgia's on Woodward got some, you need to go. So best way, like so many things, is following social media or that nice app called Untapped for beer lovers.
I got that because of your recommendation.
Yeah, it's great. And so, or go to
app called Untapped.
Untapped. Yes. So people keep track of what beers they try and what beers are out.
Okay.
Yeah, and they follow each other and recommend things. So you can go to Kalamazoo now. If you go to the actual Bells, you can go get it now if you're that desperate for your Hop Slam. But it started shipping to Metro Detroit last Thursday, so it's coming in. And one thing that I do know about is January 10th, this Thursday, there's a release party for Hop Slam at Ale Mary's in downtown Royal Oak. But there's going to be lots more, so keep an eye. So MC5's old manager, John Sinclair. I know we talked about MC5 so many times and just the crazy life that they all led. So John Sinclair, their manager, he also started Hash Bash. He also founded the White Panther Party. It's a real activist, a real a character. And he's 77 now, and he's just fulfilled a dream of his. And so he's always been this advocate for marijuana. And now that it's legal, he opened a cafe that he really wanted to be like the coffee shops that he loves in Amsterdam, where he now lives half the year. So yes, he can't sell weed out of it, but a place to hang out and relax and, And
it's BYOW?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's inside, I think this is the perfect location for it, Dr. Bob's Psychedelic Healing Shack. Now, you might not know what that is, but yeah. I bet you've seen it. This is a long time place. I bet you've seen it on Woodward near 7 Mile.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's on the east side.
Yes.
Okay. And it's super colorful. It's like the only really colorful thing there in that area. It really stands out. It's multiple structures, big garden. So within there is his cafe and coffee shop. It's called John Sinclair Foundation Cafe and Coffee Shop.
So I can bring my own edibles and...
Pretty much, yeah. Now, that's still kind of like a legal gray area, but he's hoping to get an official designation as to be like one common area where you can, partake if you're over 21, of course, so...
Well, it's good that the place is inconspicuous.
Right. You would never notice, so...
What's the name of the place it's in again?
It's in Dr. Bob's Psychedelic Healing Shack.
It's that place that looks like a
It
dandelion
like a Beatles
grew
song
up
or
by the
something?
side of the road.
Yeah, it's got big flowers painted on it. It's very,
Wasn't that a Beatles song?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Dr. Bob's
Sure.
Psychedelic.
Yeah. Something like that. So how about if you've frequented there and then you're just really hungry for more baked goods, you can find one of the best bakeries in the U.S., Sister Pie. So we've talked tons about Sister Pie. And they're in West Village, tiny place.
I've heard of that.
Oh my gosh. And they sell at different places, but I'm
putting that in my phone.
You gotta go. And they're looking at expanding, so who knows how long they'll be, in their current space, because she's just been on fire. So this was named to the Thrill List Best Bakeries in the U.S. 21 of them were named. This is the only bakery in Michigan that made the list, Sister Pie. She also came out with a cookbook last year, and it made the New York Times list of best cookbooks.
That's good, because I don't think they do edibles at Sister Pie.
They don't.
But you could using the Sister Pie cookbook.
You could make your own and infuse however you'd like.
You just swap out like strawberry jam,
fennel,
right? There you go.
Perfect. Rosemary.
There's even
garlic.
There must be a website that shows you how to adapt these recipes, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, definitely.
That should be the sequel to this cookbook.
It could be. It could be a nice, So go check out Sister Pie. So
Just
good.
put it in my phone. I'm going.
Yep. And speaking of that little block in West Village, next to Sister Pie now is the new restaurant called Marrow. And it's a butcher shop and the restaurant. And I went over there over the break and had the chef's tasting menu, $50 a person. It was so incredible, you guys. It was really, really good. And I thought a good price for what you get, multiple courses, apps to dessert. And it was really something special. And you walk through the butcher shop and, see all the meat. And I mean, it's definitely everything's fresh and unique. So I really like that. I also tried Cork and Gobble, which is in Corktown. I think they're, working some snags out because it's brand new, but super cool space. There's
service snags.
And the food, I think,
food
could be
snacks.
tweaked a bit. But, half of our table loved what they got. Half was kind of like, it's good. So, but super nice people and incredible space with tons of history. So right there on Michigan Avenue in Corktown. And then I also had a chance to go to San Morello, the new Italian place in the Shinola Hotel. So if you like
How was it?
Italian, really good. Really well done. The chef's from New York. It's a lovely, lovely space. Have a drink in the Shinola Hotel lobby area, which is like the coziest, coolest living room you've ever been to. And then go have your ravioli, your pizza.
When are they officially opening the hotel? Isn't it this week?
It's open.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm headed down there.
So if you like Italian, super great service. So
An Italian restaurant in Detroit. There wasn't one down there before, was there?
Well, there's been Angelina's. There's been different, like La Lanterna's in Capitol Park, which is good.
Okay.
So, but this is like a finer, you're going to drop some money, but it's very well done. I had some trout that was cooked to perfection. So it was neat. Nice night out. And Hunter House Hamburgers. Have you guys ever been there in Birmingham?
I have. It's a staple.
Great,
You have to.
right?
It's just White Castle. Greens, Hunter House,
But
White
it's
Castle.
good.
But it's good.
And the fries and everything.
Yes.
And the people are fun and nice. So its proposed demolition is on the table for a mixed-use 5-story development, which Birmingham needs more of those. Ugh. So keep an eye on that because the owners who have run that store, it's a family-owned business. They've been running the restaurant since 1982. They oppose it, so they're hoping they have property rights, and so we'll see how that all shakes out.
They're going to pull an eminent domain thing
I hope
on
so,
them.
yeah.
There's a Metro Detroit institution that is turning 40 years old, and we'll tell you who it is.
This is the Debrief. This is the Debrief.
All right, you guys ever watch PBS? You're into
Sure.
Downton Abbey? What are you watching over there?
I watched that.
The
yeah.
McNeil Lehrer Hour? Is that still
Don't
on?
watch that.
Sesame Street? No, that's over.
I usually
Used
watch the
to.
cartoons.
That's HBO, right?
Yeah. Well, now it is, but
Well, there's a very popular show there. It's in its 23rd season. It is the Antiques Roadshow. You've seen this, right?
Oh, of course.
Where they go in, people go in, and they bring their...
Here, I got this painting.
It's been in my basement for 30 years. Tell me if
I
it's
bought
worth
a
$1 million.
wife off of there.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very antique.
How much was she worth?
Yeah, how much was she worth?
Priceless.
A bottle of Red Pop. And, priceless. That's what I meant.
No price, yeah.
Well, we actually record this show on Monday nights, and as we speak, the premiere of season number 23 is happening, and it's an episode that was filmed in the Detroit area. It was actually filmed at Meadowbrook Hall in June of 2017.
Speaking of history.
Yeah. So if you didn't catch the show, don't worry, they're going to re-air it on Monday the 14th and the 21st as well. But there were actually some Detroitish items in the list, including a signed Jimmy Hoffa memoir.
Wow. Okay.
When did this drop?
Oh, we'll see.
You guys sound skeptical.
We've heard a lot of Jimmy Hoffa stories over the years.
So you don't think it was...
I don't know. They'd have to check the authenticity of that.
Who are you going to ask?
How do you check the authenticity of that?
I don't know.
There must be a lot of production that goes into this because they can't know what people are going to walk in with.
No, of course. And they can't know on the spot to just with the naked eye. That's definitely his signature.
Jimmy Hoffa. Right.
Yeah.
Do you think he signed it Jimmy or do you think he signed it James?
I'd go with James. Yeah.
I would think so too. Also, a painted wardrobe trunk that was used by the Temptations during 1965.
That sounds cool.
That's probably where Jimmy Hoffa is right now. So someone may have ended up with a twofer.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When did Jimmy Hoffa? When was he actually offed? I don't know.
Well, you don't know if he's off.
I think he's still alive.
He might be hanging on an island with Tupac and Biggie.
You think he's still alive? No. Is that your theory?
No.
Does anybody really think that he's still alive, or that he at least continued to live after his disappearance?
Oh, I think people.
Some people probably think he's still alive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, check the show out. It's going to re-air, like I said, on the 14th and the 21st.
This is the Debrief.
All right, guys, let's take a quick look at what's happening on stages around town. Starting with this, what's the longest that you have ever held a job?
10 years.
10 years? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What were you doing for 10 years?
I worked for the Hudson Weber Foundation, downtown Detroit. Yeah, Hudson's family money. Although I must say, within that 10 years, I also had basically a year each of maternity leave for both of my kids.
Okay.
So maybe not continuously
So
running.
eight
but
years.
Yeah.
All right, good enough. What about you?
Paid gig or?
Yeah,
It would be the current position I have now, 10 years.
10 years.
10, okay.
My longest is my current position, 3.5 years, unless you want to count lifeguarding in high school.
No.
And how long was that?
Well, I went back for 5 summers.
Oh no, that's not continuous.
That was a great job. Well, look.
Speaking of Speedos.
There is a guy who has had the same job for 40 years. And it's a guy that you and I know, Mike, because we actually interviewed him.
Yes.
Way back when we were doing the Detroit versus Detroiters podcast that we did together. That is Mark Ridley of
I
Mark
admire
Ridley's
the guy.
Comedy Castle.
Super
Yes.
cool.
He is celebrating his 40th year of the Comedy Castle. Hasn't always been at that location in Royal Oak. I mean, it's been 5 or 6 different locations, I
Yes.
think. I mean, he told us that whole story. We have to dig up that episode because
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you
I'm
should
not even sure if
for
that's
the
still on iTunes or anything.
for the 40th anniversary.
Yeah, but no, he's absolutely. I mean, you talk about it a little bit because you've been in the comedy scene a lot longer than I have.
Yeah, man. Comedy Castle, that's my home club. Mr. Ridley is kind of a, how do you say, I don't want to say a mentor because he doesn't do comedy per se, but the way he runs his business and the way he carries, his staff carries themselves, and it's just an amazing to see how well run that whole, it's a machine.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
and the
machine,
business of comedy is legit. Like, I'd imagine a lot of comedians go in, they have a great craft, but it's also your own
Exactly.
business.
Exactly.
I mean, you need to.
He's mastered it. He's one of, I think, 5 what they consider A rooms, which are like high level, top of the line rooms in the country.
Wow.
And he's one of the original ones. So to perform there on that stage is an honor.
There are not many, if any. I don't know how many places can say that they've been around for 40 years. I mean, he told us the story, remember, of how it must have been in the 70s that he went out to L.A., not for long, only for a couple months. This is in the,
Okay.
if you've ever read the book, I'm Dying Up Here, which sort of tells the story of, back when Jay Leno was doing comedy and David Letterman was doing comedy and all those greats were kind of there in L.A. It tells that story. And he was out there around that time for a couple of months, saw it, said, I want to do this. I want to do comedy, came back to Detroit. And he's credited with something that we take for granted, which is the 3-act comedy show. You've got the MC, you've got the feature act, and you've got the headliner. He was really the guy who put that together
He created that format.
decades ago.
He's an amazing guy, and he's very humble and low key, easy to talk to. Everyone's scared of him because of who
his
he
position,
is.
yeah.
And when I first met him, he claimed that he met me before, and I didn't recall ever meeting him. And I told him up until that night, I thought he was kind of like a Kaiser Soze type of character.
Like, did he even exist?
Right. Did you even exist? And I'm like, you're standing here. I'm like, are you really Mark Ridley or are you just saying it? But over the years of getting to know him and speaking to him, outside of comedy and all that, he's just a cool guy. He's a cool guy. And I aspire to be like him when I'm in my 40th year of comedy.
And when you look at the comedians who have come through here, I mean, Tim Allen started here.
Yeah.
Dave Coulier started here. When Jay Leno came back to film an episode of whatever car show Jay Leno does on cable television now,
Right.
I mean, there were photos that popped up on Facebook. Remember that?
Right,
Of
right.
him
Right.
hanging out. And he went and hung out with Mark, not business. I think they were just
hanging
friends
out.
from,
Yeah.
you
can go anywhere in the country and say Mark Ridley or say the Comedy Castle, which is another reason why it's such a great venue, because it's called Ridley's or Mark Ridley's or Comedy Castle or the Castle. People know who it is and what you're talking about. And they'll always say, I met Dave Attell on the street in New York City. I was out there for a comedy festival years ago. And Dave Attell said, I met you at the Comedy Castle. He goes, oh man, that place is a gym. You guys need to take care of it. So he comes here every year. So Yeah, man. That's my spot.
So you're going to help celebrate the 40th anniversary.
I'm part of it. It's an honor.
Thursday night.
I didn't even recognize that until you guys mentioned it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So Thursday night you're performing. Louis Anderson and Billy Ray Bauer are performing Friday and Saturday nights.
Wow.
Special.
Louis who? I don't know.
But this is the type of big caliber names. I mean, Gary Graff, the music writer for the Oakland Press, who we've had on this show a number of times, actually wrote this huge article about it. And he's quoting people like Lewis Black and Kathleen Madigan. Kathleen Madigan's one who still comes back and plays the Comedy
Couple
Castle.
times a year. And she's one of the few people, if not the only person, that comes back twice a year.
And she could fill rooms bigger than that. She
Easy.
just loves the venue.
Yeah.
It's that kind of place. And then I guess the other thing we should mention is that his sons have gone on into not
pretty successful
comedy per se, but they
writing
definitely,
and
one of them was writing for Community and then Rick and Morty.
Right.
You were the one who was telling me the other son.
He is involved in the Last Chance U series on Netflix about college football players that have screwed up at their schools, and they go down to a JUCO and play to try to get their eligibility back up. His son, one of his sons, he won a either an Emmy or an Oscar. I think it was an Emmy for that, and I think won an Oscar last year. I cannot remember the name of the movie, but it was a documentary.
Yeah.
I'll dig it up.
So
I might be misquoted. It could have been a Razzie. I don't know.
Well, anyway, 40 years is an amazing run for a comedy club.
Not
Congratulations to Mark Ridley there. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. You ever imagine your own funeral?
No. I have to say no.
Really?
I really haven't.
Yeah. My 10-year-old and I got into this conversation a couple days ago about the music that I would like played at my funeral. And she was sad about it, but I'm like, it's a part of life. We all go that route. And I wanted her to be prepared. So she went into her Apple Music and started making a playlist.
Right. What songs did you?
Oh, boy.
This is yours or hers?
Oh, this is mine.
Okay.
For me. Sade, By Your Side. It had to be some Earth, Wind, and Fire in there. I let her pick out the one she wants. I'm like, but it has to be upbeat.
See, I think about it. For me, it's Massive Attack, Him at the Big Wheel, which is when they make the biopic of Seth Wrestler. That's going to be the song that plays over the credits.
Massive Attack. That is, I'm going to download that song. I like Massive Attack.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's why I bring it up. Because Cirque du Soleil is coming back. They're going to be at Little Caesars Arena January 10th through the 13th. And the show they're doing is Corteo. Now, Corteo means cortege in Italian. I didn't know what cortege meant in English. Apparently, it's an English word. It's a solemn procession. And in this case, the show is built around the idea of a clown who pictures his own funeral taking place in kind of like a carnival atmosphere. So he's watched over by angels and this, that, the other thing. So if you want to see a
a happy family.
Right.
Oh.
If you're scared of clowns and death, come to Cortez.
A funeral for kids of all ages.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of drinking.
Yeah, but I'm going to be mad if they play Massive Attack. I'm going to be upset.
It was my idea.
I know. Yeah. Well.
Or September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
Also, there is something pretty cool that's going on at Ghostlight in Hamtramck. This is happening on Saturday the 12th. It's called the 100 Video Hour. Here's the deal. There's the creator/editor, Hawk Martha, took 100 videos and stitched them together into this 1-hour presentation.
Okay.
And I actually saw the teaser on YouTube, and it's weird.
Okay.
It's bizarre.
Just crazy,
I mean, it's
It
art.
sounds interesting.
It does sound really compelling.
You know what I thought of as soon as I saw it is, you remember A Clockwork Orange, the movie?
It's just flashing the scenes.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, like that. Or there was a scene in Lost with like that. That was kind of what it was like. So
a little.
it looks artsy, but
disarming.
it looks cool. Go check it out. That's happening the 12th at the Ghostlight in Hamtramck. A couple of other things I want to note. Opening this weekend at some theaters around town, you've got Significant Other by Joshua Harmon at the Ringwald, and you've got the comedy Wonder of the World happening at the Open Book Theater Company in Trenton. Closing, it's going to be your last chance to see Disney's Aladdin at the Detroit Opera House, and Dave Landau, very funny dude.
Now, he's a mentor of mine. I love Dave Landau.
He is, I've seen him the last 2 years for Valentine's Day at the Comedy Castle. He is very, very funny. He's going to be performing at Big Tommy's in Novi this weekend. Nice. So go check it out.
This is the D.
Detroit.
This is the Debrief.
All right, Mike. Thanks for coming back for another day.
So
Listen,
fun.
man,
I don't
love
want you to
too,
go.
man. Seriously, I love you too, and I miss doing the podcast and all that.
But you're
Yeah.
headlining big comedy
I know,
clubs,
I mean-
world famous 40-year-old
No.
comedy clubs.
And I'm planning trips over to Europe to do comedy this year, and it's just
Woo.
been crazy. Yeah,
Nice.
We're
comedy.
happy. We're happy.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
are. Hey, look, before we get out of here, we mention a lot of things in this show. If you want to find links to everything that we talk about, all you have to do is go over to our website, thedebriefdetroit.com, and sign up for the email list. We will email you a list of links to everything that we talk about.
You can also get it by texting the word Detroit to 444-999.
All right, Mike, you got one last thing to do before we get out of here. You ready?
Born ready, Seth.
You missed that sound effect.
I do.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Here's how this works. We're going to ask you for some rapid fire recommendations. Just tell us the first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Ready, Seth.
Okay, how about your favorite food or whatever dish, drink from Detroit? Detroit food item.
Not national, but American. Coney Island. I had Coney dogs.
Coney dogs.
I'm sorry. I'm a basic dude, man. Coney's all
Basic
day,
black
every
dude.
day. Basic black.
BBD.
BBD. Otherwise known as Belle Biv DeVoe.
Exactly. Two of my favorites. Okay, what's a thing about Detroit that you brag about to your out-of-town friends?
I brag about how the people in Detroit are salt of the earth and they're protectionist. I can leave out of town. I lived in North Carolina and on it for a while. And whenever I fly into Detroit, we go around the Rinsen, my heart swells because I know I'm going to deal and talk with people that are just cool, chill people. And I love that about it. I also love that if you talk trash about Detroit, folks in Detroit are ready to fight. And it doesn't matter if you're from Detroit or from the suburbs. They're ready to knuckle up.
Nice. Is there a Detroit comedian that everybody should know about?
Mike Geeter.
Well, I mean, besides Mike Geeter.
Boy, well, I mean, Dave Landau, he's making waves, but Josh Adams.
Yeah. He
Josh
just recorded
Adams.
his album, too.
Yeah, he just recorded his. Josh Adams, they're learning about Jeff Horst. There's so many, man.
Jeff Horst now heading out to L.A.
Yeah,
right?
heading
Moving
out to
on.
LA.
Moving, yeah.
When are you moving west?
Yeah, are you going to move west?
I'm never going to move. That's what planes are for. I could stay here and fly out there unless I get some kind of TV deal or Netflix is like, hey, you want to run Netflix and basically fund all of Adam Sandler's projects. I'm like, yeah, sure, I can write a check. So no, I won't move out west.
All right. Favorite Faygo flavor?
Ooh, man. Orange. I like orange.
All right. That's BBD.
Now, do you like BBD? Yeah, BBD. Now, do you like it with the vanilla ice cream as a creamsicle type
Yes.
of...
Girlfriend. And if you get some alcohol, you can have a real Faygo.
a dreamsicle.
You can have a Dago.
All right. There we go.
That wasn't as rapid fire as I'm used to.
Yeah, it wasn't very rapid.
I'm sorry. I had to think about a couple things. I wanted to answer every question. I apologize. I did.
That's
No,
all
it's
right.
okay.
We edit out the ones that you don't. Hey, look, Mike Geeter, thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations on headlining Mark Ridley's Comedy
you,
Castle
Seth
this
Wrestler.
Thursday, January 10th.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah.
Are you going to be there?
I'm going to be there.
No, I'm not. I'm in Vegas. I'm in Vegas.
I'll
this
represent
week.
both of
She'll
us.
Be
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Cancel Vegas.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I told him
But
too.
fortunately-
Well, who's your real friend here?
Yes.
Up top next.
But you know what? There's also another opportunity to see you, which is January 25th and 26th. You're going to be over at the Holly Hotel.
Will you be there for one of those?
Yeah.
Oh,
for one of
shows.
those.
There you go.
That's a great place to go see a show.
Have you been there, Becky?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
I do
yes.
need a dinner recommendation before we go.
Oh, in Holly?
In Holly.
Oh, I don't know. That's
All right,
outside my range.
We'll do some homework.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
Yeah, no, we'll do some homework.
We'll figure it out.
At a better place. All right, Mike, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks,
don't
bro.
forget, tomorrow we are talking to...
Steven from Batch Brewing. It's going to be all about beer.
Ooh, I'm excited for that. Till then, Detroit's moving.
Keep up.
The Debrief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.